Please subscribe and like. The story begins. In the evening, in the middle of a university building, the with a fat boy was asking a girl to be his girlfriend, tells her that he like her. Since he had first seen her, he apologizes to her as she was being proposed by someone she did not like. It was not like she did not like her. She felt like he is talented and fun. There was no reason to hate him, but she says that she wanted to focus on her studies. A boy outside waiting for Si-woo asks, "What happened?" But seeing his gloomy expression, there was really no need to ask. He consults him, saying that was the thing that he was prepared for. He tells his friend that she wanted to focus on her studies, hearing that the boy thinks that she should have at least made better excuses because she did not even have good grades. But why was it always him? A ball comes toward them in full speed, but Si will manage to block it with a single hand. The player comes running towards them asking if they are okay, was sad and asking why he, like that was indeed, it was the greatest mystery of his life. His friend thought it was not. Like Si-woo disliked exercise, and it was not that he could not with every meal. He meticulously calculated his calories. His diet and exercise were so intense that if other people did half of what he did, then no one in the world would get fat. His friend asks if he had been to the hospital for a checkup. CYO had gone to the doctor many times, but the doctor said if he is not losing weight, in spite of what he was doing, it meant that his fatness was because of his genes. Saywell gets home genes. He thought and looked at his family's picture. He wishes that was true. He picks of his parents' pictures and think that it was unfair. He could have given up multiple times even in the past or now. His mother, who had always complimented him about his beauty. As a matter of course, he had never seen his father in person. However, he had heard stories that his father was a famous wrestler. Although his period of activity was short, his record and strength were truly overwhelming according to his mom. He was not overweight. He just had a physique where muscles would develop just by breathing. It was so irritating for him. What was the meaning of all the diet that did not even work? It had been several years that he had been dieting without any results. Instead of continuing to be stressed for nothing, he'd rather eat as much as he want. He then stops himself from stopping the bag of chips and starts eating the salad. He then goes for a run currently. He runs for kilometers. He could run faster than an average record. He remembers being rejected and thinks that he will never give up. He had finished running 15.4 kilometers. He had run too far without realizing it. But where was he? Was there a place like this? He had been to that place for the first time. He then takes his phone out to see in the maps where he was just then. Someone says to him that he is indeed fast, even after growing up like a little pig. Still, it looked like Si-woo could not deceive his bloodline. It was an old man talking. He jumps from the bridge and lands in front of Si-woo. CYO backs down, asks the old man. If he is okay? The old man tells him that there is no need to be afraid, as he did not come to devour him. He then introduces himself as Grandpa Mang Tia, a similar name to a boogeyman. He was taking care of the Yokai in the peninsula, playing the role of divine judge Cyber. With a shaking voice asks what the grandpa tells, that from the looks of it, he knew nothing at all, but he was fine, as there was no need to say much. He then takes out a blanket/a sheet and tells Si-woo to come with him. He wraps him in the sheet. Si-woo was bound in the sheet, thinking what it is. He is then released from the sheet. He questions what is going on. He looks around to see that he was in a shrine. The grandpa called it the world of Yokai. He tells Si-woo to look in every direction carefully, and he asks him if he sees it all who were gathered. There were the residents of this world. Yokai, once human, feared them. Now they were merely considered superstitions and exist only as imaginary beings. Once every 666 years, the great festival is held to select the king of Yokai. All Yokai clans existing in the entire world, including him, must select and send young Yokai with outstanding talents as candidates. 666 years ago, a Yokai stood tall as their king, and now 666 years have passed. It was too much information, tells him to wait, but he asks why on earth was he there. The grandpa then explains that every clan must send at least one candidate, including the Yokai word and human world. and he was the only one who had inherited goblin bloodline. Si-woo tells the old man that it had to some kind of mistake. Someone then comes flying towards him and lands right in front of him. The old man says that whether it is a complete nonsense or not, he should at least do the test. The one that landed in front of him was a monster, a big mouth. Yokai. The old man tells that if he won, he could eat him. The monster was happy seeing human meat. After a long time was terrified. Seeing this, the monster charges towards Si-woo and punches him in the gut. He is sent flying. The monster says that even if he had inherited the goblin blood, a mere human should not be allowed to participate. So the old man tells him to prove. If he wanted to live the monster, then again catches Si-woo and smashes him in the ground. The monster sees that Si-woo was surprisingly tough. He had thought that it would be easy to devour him, but it was not bad. He again raised his hand, saying that pounding fist meat is enjoyable. The abilities possessed by goblins were truly limitless. Nevertheless, their representative weapon was the game they enjoyed. As long as it was a goblin, it could learn without being taught. Talents are ingrained in the body by instinct. Si-woo then catches the demon, and using Sirium, a traditional martial arts technique, he slams the monster in the ground. Choi Si-woo is 17 years old, race human. Now his race was half goblin. He had now completely woken up his true power.